Hi everyone, this is Tracy from We Craft at Home. Thank you for joining me. And today we are going to do the trinket box. I need somewhere to store, I have a lot of costume jewellery and I need somewhere to store it all. So that's what I'm using it for. Obviously it can be used for many things, craft included, but that's the idea with me. So I chose two materials that I got at the yard sale. That's one of them. That will be for the outside. It's got a bit of gold threading in it. I love it. And then I just got a plain, well, a kind of mottled red, like this, for the inside. Got them both at the yard sale. There's one more on the 31st of August. Actually, that's only a couple of days away, so it might not. This might not go out in time. So, as always, we've got our little books. Make sure you've got everything ready. Pot of glue, and the all different size spatulas that you might need, depending on the size of the boxes that you are covering. This is from the pack to put together. So let's get started. The first thing it says we have to do is to cover, the hexagon. Now this is, you want to cover it in the material you're doing on the inside. If you're doing two separate ones, it's the material going on the inside. Because then what you're going to do, you've got these and you are just going to glue them on top. So take 6 of the card shapes, that's these, and glue on top. Yeah, I knew it was. Okay, so I'm going to use the little one because we've only got a glue here and some of the sides. So I'm going to get 2 ready first because it's a bit easier. Got way too much glue on this. So there's one. So we are doing the top and one side. So if we do one and then the other with it, so that we can make sure they stick together, because trying to stick one on its own is almost impossible. As you see, if you do 2 together, they kind of support each other. That is how it's going to end up. And then you can use the gum paper if you wish. I'll show you because I'm going to reinforce a couple of bits. You just lick it. See, like that's not sticking very well, so I am going to just reinforce the joint there, just to show you how to do it. And I'll do one there as well. So all it's really doing is holding the joint together. like that. So there you go, it's more together now. So then the next bit you need to do is turn it over. Shall we just reinforce? Okay, so the next thing to do is to turn it over, and what we're going to do now is just cover the top. Where did I put my sheets? Or the bottom it'll be, in fact. So we're going to use the next size up, and the first thing to do is obviously to just cover this with glue. Don't overuse the glue, because all that is going to do is make everything longer to dry. But always make sure you get as much of the edges as you can. And then I am just making sure, no, about like that. So I'm making sure none of the white is showing. We are just going to cull it down a little bit, and then you're going to snip into each one, just like that, taking a chunk out of each one. Okay, so we've done that, we've stuck down the edges. That's all ready to go. So the next thing you need is a long piece of material. What did I do with it? There it is. Was that for the lid? A long piece of material. I think it gives you the measurements actually. Let's do it by the book. $530 by 100 mils. And then what you do is you just glue a hem on. So that's literally going along with the glue and then folding it over, just so you've got a nice neat edge. And then what we're going to do is go around. I don't know whether this is just something I've read, but I always start halfway. It might have been something she said before and I've taken on board. But always make sure you do the edge bit there, because of that. So you get the edge and you do it flush against the bottom. Follow round. So it's like that. Now you're just going to trim the little corners like you've done before. All the way round, and then stick them down on the inside. Okay, so the next bit is to glue the thin card pieces, and I've done that in my opposite colour, and they're just going to go and glue in here all the way round. Okay, so the other bit to that is you want to go and do it all again, because you need to. So there's my first one. And that's the one that I've built with you so I can see how to do it. After you've done them two, you're then working on the lid. Now the lid itself is almost the same as the boxes, apart from this bit. So when it comes, this piece is in there, like that. And you're going to take that out. And what you need to do, just get the rubbish all out of the way. You need to get the piece, there's another piece of hexagon that's like that, and you're going to lay this flat over the top and get a pencil and draw around it like that, and then using this you cut out a piece of wadding and stick it where you drew the hexagon. Can you see where I've drawn it there? So you're sticking that in there. And I waited to cover this just so that I can show you all that pieces. And then this piece is going to go on top, and it's a direct stick. So you're sticking and trimming, just like you did with the inside original hexagon. This piece is trimmed, and then that bit is stuck over the other side. So we're sticking it onto here, so we're just going to go all the way round and stick that piece down, and then trim to size. It'll all make sense. So once it's stuck down, obviously give it a bit longer to stick than I did. And then just trim. Now we're going to stick the inside colour on the other way. So what's going to happen with this piece is you're going to actually stick it inside there, and that's going to come through. So you want it the same pattern as what you've got. Okay, now I've stuck that down. I'm just going to trim it down and cut the corners like I've done with everything else, and then stick it round. You don't want it to go past the wadding, because that's going through the hole. Okay, so that's what you're left with. That's what you get. Then you come to do the lid. So don't do the lid before you've drawn round it, because it'll be a different size. Anyway, you get the hinges and you bend them over and stick them together with the tape. All around each one you stick together. And then you cover it just like we did the box. So you do the top first. The only difference is you've got to cut bits. You've got to cut the middle out and tuck it under, which is what I've done. And then you get a long piece of material again, and hem it. I don't know if you can see there where I've used the same thing, and you go round. Make sure you do it the size it tells you to do it, actually, before I forget. So it's 550 by 95, because what it's going to do, it's going to cover the inside for when you put this in, so that you don't have to do inside. See? So then you're going to wrap it round just like before, cut down, and then fold it over and glue. If there's any coming outside, just trim it off, but you should be fine. I kind of cut my angles too much, so I have got little spaces here. So be aware of that, because I did do the angles too much for that. So now we're over onto the last page, where it shows you how to do it. And now we need to stick this in. So I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the little one, and I'm going to go around the inside like that. I think that's going to be a little easier. Just remember, at this point you have materials, so you use a bit more glue, because it soaks quite a lot of it up quite quickly. Try and be as quick as you can with it as well. Make sure you've got it in the right position you want it. So I'm just going to make sure it kind of follows the rest of the pattern as much as I can do. It is a bit of a wavy pattern, so it's not that easy. And stick it down. And that is your lid. There we go. With a nice wadding on the top. Okay, so that's the lid done. The last piece, which I left half done so that I could show you what I'm doing. So I've stuck them all down. These are the last pieces, and they're square pieces. So this piece of material got to be 620 by 230, because what happens is it covers completely the back. So you have to make sure you do that the right side. So you've got to leave a 4mm gap between each piece of card. Got this nasty feeling. I tried to measure, but it's very hard. Okay, so some of them are only 3. Should be all right. Fold the long edges right, so long edges first, then the short edges, it says. So there we go. Now we've got the two ends. Now it says use the fabric. Just going to cut that end off and make where does it say? Using small pieces of fabric, make 2 small looped pull tabs and glue them as shown. So the picture to me is not very clear. So I am just going to cut this in half, and then I am going to glue down the middle just to tidy it up a little bit. So it doesn't show you how to do it, I'm just having guesswork here. I'm just trying on the fly to see if it'll work. And then we're just going to glue all down there. Just so it's just a tiny bit neater. Now I think actually we might be able to get, yeah. I think I'm going to cut that in half and do two. So the picture's not great on how to do this, so I'm guessing you do that. That's what I'm going to do. So if I do it wrong, I apologise. But it just says 2 small tabs. So I am just going to do it like that. See? If you know another way, a ribbon will probably look nice on the end of these as well. If you've got something that will go with ribbon, some sort of ribbon that will work. Just make sure you let it dry with plenty of time. Right, and then what do you do? Apply glue to 3 sides of one of the boxes and glue to the inside of the outer panel. Right, I think I know what they're saying there. So, yeah. So we need glue on 3 sides of this. And apply it to this. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3. Yeah, we want it on the bottom. Let me just check I've got that right. Yeah, because I don't want it uneven. So there we go. So you apply it to that. Okay. So then the second box. Wrong way round. Okay, so I've just noticed if you take care, you can see the overlap. I think if I'd done it upside down, that wouldn't have shown. It would have been covered by this. But I didn't think about that. Let's see if I can take it off. Oh, possibly. And do it that way round. I'll have to re-stick, I think, a little bit. Pegs off that one. So this one you want to do only the bottom half because it doesn't all show, it's not all going to fit, as you can see. So take care. Again, only 3 sides again as well. So from here, that didn't stick too well. We need to make sure that that is from the edge, and then go in. There we go. Maybe if you sit it on the box, like that, to make sure that they all go nicely. And then wait patiently for it all to stick. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to move them up a little bit because they are not covered unless I move them up. Just want to make sure they are caught into that, and they wasn't, so okay. And now it's patience. Actually, I wonder if they'll reach just. So I'm just going to leave them to take. And that is your box once you can put the lid on. And you've got your loops there to open it. Not sure if that will work, but we'll try. Oh yes, there we go. And there is your trinket box. And it opens like that. And then shuts as a hexagon. Obviously it's not shutting now because of the peg. And I can't show you that the lid goes on. Is it stuck? It doesn't take long to stick actually, does it, this glue? It's very good like that. Yeah, there we go. So it shuts and then the lid goes on. There we go. That's a beautiful box actually, isn't it? There we go. I am just going to put the peg back on that last one. I think the others are alright. Yep. Okay. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.